Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here, the Watchman. And on today's Watchman's Report, we have an exciting guest. It's Ray Gano. Ray used to be down in, I think he was in Costa Rica and Panama. Just came back to the States. He's somewhere in the state of Texas. And he has a website and a blog. It's Ray Gano, Gano, Ray, Gano.com. I highly suggest you go and check it out. I was absolutely blown away yesterday by an article that he posted on his website that Steve Quayle actually reposted on his website. And the title of that article is How the Demonic Gains Access to One's Life and Home and What We Can Do About It. Ray, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's just dive right into it. What is this whole demonic oppression that you're talking about?
Well, first of all, Mike, thank you for having me back on your show. I love being on your show, and it's a joy and pleasure to be back. What I've done is I've actually written a series on the demonic. What I started to realize is that a lot of Christians don't know how to deal with this area, or because they're not taught in church. Nobody's teaching about it. Nobody's talking about it. And a lot of my writing, a lot of my readers know that when I write, I try to write kind of the 101 style, meaning keep it to the simple basics and what's the pertinent information that people need. But what I've been getting some emails from folks, and they were asking me, okay, Ray, you're writing about all this demonic stuff and how to do this and how to do that and what it means. And, first off, Christians cannot be possessed, but we can be oppressed, depressed, and influenced quite a lot. And so people were asking me, well, what do we do? Because my pastor ain't teaching me and teaching me in Sunday school or anything. And so first of all, what we need to do is we need to understand what is demonic oppression. And demonic oppression is an attack from the enemy. There's certain illnesses. It's depression, it's excessive fear, it's anxiety, worry, and a lot of these things can lead to a stressful life and broken marriage, even financial hassles or financial problems and things. But a lot of times when people are feeling these things, they don't know that they might be under demonic attack. And so these things, they just think it's just day-to-day living, and they just kind of suck it up, drive on, and keep moving, and their life turns into bondage. Their life just, it's hard. It's a trial. It's just the enemy works hard to destroy, steal, and kill. So these are the things that a lot of people, when I've been writing these articles, say, wow, Ray, this is just great information. But it was interesting. How do demons, basically, demons, evil spirits, so forth, how do they gain access to your home? And a lot of times, again, Christians don't even know that they're doing it. And one of the biggest ways that we allow these evil into our homes is through what I call portals or gateways or doors of influence. And probably the biggest door of influence, or this portal or gateway, is television. I mean, I've been out of the United States now for 4 years, and yeah, we were living in Costa Rica first in Panama, and we had to come back here and see what's on TV today. And to be honest, I've been quite blown away to see all these shows. In fact, I was totally amazed that there's this show called Lucifer. And basically the premise is that Satan has basically given up being the bad guy, and says, you know what, screw it, I'm done. I'm just going to be a normal whatever. And so he owns a bar in LA, and he helps these cops be a part-time crime fighter. And it's like, wow, I cannot believe that they now have a show about this. And what they're doing is desensitizing the people with a lot of these shows. You're seeing a lot of shows about witchcraft. You're seeing a lot of shows about just evil and period. We're seeing shows about just death and destruction and everything. All this desensitizes people, but it also then opens up these doors, these influences. It opens up our brains to allowing this evil to come in, and so after a while, we become susceptible to these to the evil. And again, TV is really influencing all of this. One of the big things too is that I've been noticed, and this hit me quite hard because we were taking our grandkids shopping and going buying some toys and stuff like that. But it's amazing to see the toys and things that are associated to a lot of the children's programs, and how much, and again, in the past 4 years that we've been here, it's amazing that we've been gone, but actually it's amazing to see how much has changed. And we were just walking through the children's section, and to see all the kind of the witch stuff being touted for, especially little girls. There was this pink Ouija board, quote unquote, game that you can purchase and everything. They had this cute little heart for the point. It's insane. And then there was this whole section, toy section called Yokai Watch or Yokai or whatever. And what this is kind of like, I think like a Pokemon sort of thing. And what you do is you go around and you battle spirits, and you have your good spirits. And basically what this is teaching kids is how to conjure demons. And it's mind-blowing to me that this is going on. And I don't, so all these toys are there, and they have these Yokai and everything, and it's just absolutely amazing to me. But there's just so many things that we are opening ourselves up to that we as Christians, we really don't know that we're doing it. And so, a lot of people, because they are under stress or worried or anxiety and everything, they may be actually facing attacks from not realize it. So what I've been doing in my articles is just really helping people understand these attacks, understand how the enemy works, understand that there are things in our lives that we are doing that we may not know that is allowing the enemy in. We were going through Barnes and Nobles the other day, and they had a big gigantic section just for Harry Potter stuff, and I was amazed to see, they had all these spell books and magic wands and all these things that you can buy and everything, and it's like, what a trip. But it's just all this evil and again, like I said, we've just been gone for 4 years, and it's kind of mind-blowing to me to see all this and how it's just been prevalent in this world today, or at least here in the United States. It's just, absolutely mind-blowing. But these are things that can open the doors to the demonic. And another one being, pornography will lead to opening doors. Drugs, big time. People, we're seeing more and more pharmaceutical drugs being abused, or also street drugs also being abused. False religions, and especially New Age stuff. This is a big thing that has really entered the church today. We're seeing this whole empty your mind, and we need to have centering prayer and repeating all, these, a single word, doing mantras, and I mean, all this is just plain old pagan, pagan stuff. And people just, especially in the church, when we're seeing some of these Christian authors promoting this stuff, it's absolutely amazing to me that pastors are letting this in, and the reason a lot of pastors are letting this in is because they're kind of ignorant in themselves as well. So they don't recognize that these are ways that the enemy gains access to our lives and stuff. So it's important that people understand this, and we are living in a day and age, and this is something that I really saw at the conference, Mike, is that a resounding message over and over again, or a resounding theme, that we are literally in a spiritual war, and this spiritual war is seeping over into the virtual. So the spiritual is seeping over into the virtual, and it's amazing to me how many get on YouTube and type in, possessed person or possessed man or possessed girl, and it's mind-blowing, the videos of people just being possessed. And it's just we are truly living in the days of Noah. and the enemy has his soldiers or his organizations organized, and we as Christians, we just don't have anything going right now. And so we need to organize. We need to start recognizing these attacks from the enemy, and we need to start doing something about it. One of the negative things is a lot of us Christians are fighting with each other. There's a lot of infighting over stupid stuff, where we need to, instead of building walls between ourselves, we need to build walls against the enemy, and we need to start working together. But to do all this, we just need to know how the enemy attacks, and that's information that a lot of people just don't even know today. So that's kind of where I've been writing. You know, I've done like 4 or 5 articles already on the demonic, and they can go to raygano.com, Gano.com, and read my articles on this and start doing something about it.
Well, you know, Ray, I really, my hat's off to you for bringing this out. I mean, you know, I've been talking for some time. Josh Peck was talking about it at the Hear the Watchmen conference in Dallas. You're right. I mean, there's too much infighting with the brothers and the Christian, the body of Christ. We just want to like argue over the little stuff. And you know, the mark of maturity. Billy Crone put it so well, is that as Christians, we don't argue over the small stuff. We focus on the big picture, and I think you're right. So let me ask you this. Hollywood. We have another video, a presentation from the Dallas conference last year from John Robertson. He does a wonderful job of breaking down Hollywood and the satanic influence there. Well, how can we stop this? What do you have as advice for Christian parents out there with their kids? What do you tell them?
What we need to do is, okay, can we affect Hollywood in itself? Kind of. And the best way to hurt Hollywood is through their wallets. And what we need to do is stop watching their videos, stop going to their movies, stop buying their DVDs and all these other things. That's where you can hurt them the most. But we need to be in unison. We need to be united in this front and everything. And then we need to truly educate our kids about what's going on. But to even educate our kids, we need to be educated ourselves. And that's the problem that I've been seeing. And this is what's been spurring me on to write a lot of these things, is because pastors aren't teaching it. People don't know. And I mean, it was amazing to me, some of the people that I was talking to at the conference. We were discussing, you know, the demonic. I had one of my articles sitting there on the table. So a lot of people are coming by and reading it and everything, discussing me about the demonics and everything. And people don't really understand what is going on, or how to battle the demonics, and how to you know, charge the gates of hell with a squirt gun, in a sense. But we need to educate ourselves. We need to educate our children, and then we need to start saying no to some of this stuff. And even though, you know, we don't watch programs or anything. Tracy and I are pretty. We watch a lot of Netflix and stuff. We don't watch a lot of TV or anything today. We're choosy on our television, which we watch. But just start turning off the boob tube and start, you know, turning on stuff that is more wholesome, more family oriented and everything. And after a while, the Hollywood industry is getting the idea that people want to see more wholesome, more family-oriented, more morally correct television. And so that's probably the best way. But again, it's just, you need to start, you know, if you really want to be active, start writing letters, start sending emails, start contacting some of these companies, these movie studios and stuff, and letting them know. It's like, listen, why are you putting out this filth? You know, I'm not watching it. And then the biggest thing, and these are things that we've done personally, is we'll start writing down all the sponsors, and we'll actually contact sponsors. And that's where we could be very effective, is actually contacting sponsors and letting these sponsors know, hey, I don't like that you're promoting this show. It's very anti-family, very anti-Christ, and we need to, you know, I'm not buying your products anymore, and I'm letting everybody I know on Facebook not to buy your products. And again, so these things, until Christians start uniting together, we're kind of, you know, throwing darts in the dark a little bit. We need to be an active force working together, and again, stop bickering. And that's the thing that's greatly needed today.
Well, Ray, you're dead on, spot on. Thank you for joining us today. I know you took time out of your morning. You're on your way out to Louisiana, where there's 80 pounds of crawfish waiting for you to boil. And I told him, folks, off the camera, I said, you know, Ray, you got to do a video on how to eat a crawfish, how to do it. So I'm hoping he'll do that, and we can share it with everybody. But until we talk next time, Ray, thank you so much for all you're doing out there. And folks, again, Ray, GANO.com. Go there, read his articles. Go to hearthewatchmen.com. See what's upcoming for Boise, Idaho this August. Check it out. Look into it. I think you'll be surprised about how the remnant body is pulling together and trying to do exactly what Ray and I are talking about. So, folks, until I see you next time on another Watchman Report, and Ray, God bless each and every one of you. Safe travels, Ray, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll see you, Mike.